Another great way to add context information to your model is to use Google Earth Imagery, in which Google Earth tools are built into SketchUp. If you don't see them, you can just right click and add in the Google tab. And they really have some different options here, like you can add a location as well as imagery, and even add your model to Google Earth. So when you search it, you can see a 3D version of your house sitting on Google Earth, which we can get into at another point. What I want to look at right now is just simply adding uh, imagery to the base of it to show some great context. So we can just click this icon right here that says add location, and I'm going to just randomly choose. I had randomly chosen an address here in Palm Beach, and just 120 Seabreeze Ave in Palm Beach. We'll search it, and you'll see it's adding it in right over here. And so what we can do is just make sure that we pull this out a little bit as much as we need, just to make sure you see the select region button, because that's what's going to allow us to capture what we want. So you can see we can zoom way out and have a ton of context, or we can zoom way in and just show a little bit of context. A piece to note is the further you zoom out, the less clear the imagery will be. It'll be much more pixelated and fuzzy, and the more you zoom in, the clearer the imagery will be. So you just need to balance between what you want to show and how much of a quality of information you want to have. Maybe it's important to show the house sitting with the the inlet and the ocean. Maybe you just want to show its relationship to the ocean. So maybe we could do something like that. So we'll zoom out and maybe we'll do something just like that, and that looks good. So we can actually now click here and say select region. We can move these pins wherever we want to specifically choose the region we want, and you just simply click grab, and it's going to import the information, and there you go. Now it's going to give a rough estimate as to where you want it to sit. But you might have to manipulate this, especially considering the fact that all these houses have the garage up, so our garage should be facing up. But it's easier and better to change the imagery around versus changing the model. You always want to keep the model where it is. So here you can see we had our pre-built site and our Google Earth site now, and so this is a good instance to where we can turn off our site Earth layer, and it just leaves our model context so that we can really place the Google Earth imagery where we want. So one point of note is that when you bring it in, it's going to create these two layers. One's called Google Earth Snapshot, which is just a 2D image, and the other one is Google Earth Terrain. Terrain is turned off by default. And what I do want to show you really quick, and we're going to go to another model. We're going to do the exact same process of just choosing a location, but maybe this time we're going to choose somewhere, say in North Carolina. We'll find some, say, more of a mountainous region. Let's zoom out. Maybe let's try and find something in Asheville. Very nice place to visit. So just looking for something, say, a little more mountainous. Maybe we'll plop our house right down over here, and we'll select our region. That's fine, and we'll grab, and you'll see it's going to import. And what's interesting is we'll come to our layers and we'll turn our snapshot off, and we're going to put our terrain on. And you can see that Google will actually import topography of the area. And this is a pretty decent topography to use. It's not going to be as accurate as getting information from an engineer, getting a topography plan from an engineer to import and build your topography from. But this is a great starting point to use if you need to for design. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to use something up here. As you can see, it's much more exaggerated than anything we would really get in Florida. Um, so we'll get rid of that, and we'll come back here. Um, and so we can just quickly check, and you can see that uh, here's our topography, and you can see that it actually has the beach built into it, which is kind of nice. Let's see if we can slide. So you can see we have our beach that goes down, so that's kind of nice. But generally, I don't keep it. Just information we don't typically really need. Um, and both of these layers, the snapshot and the terrain, will come in locked, which is the red outline that you're seeing here. So we just need to unlock it. And I'm going to use my minus and delete that and make sure I put delete contents. Typically you would just use default layer so that you're still keeping the information, but I want to get rid of the information. So I'm going to say delete contents. And now that leaves us with our Google Earth snapshot. And this I want to unlock just so I can change the layer, because I want to put it on this my site conceptual Google Earth snapshot. So we're just going to hit Shift E for my entity info and change it to Google Earth site Earth snapshot. You can see it disappears because it's turned off. No big deal. Let's turn it back on. And so now you can see I can run my purge unused, and it'll get rid of that layer because I'm no longer using it. So now that it's unlocked, we can actually move it around. So I'm going to rotate this 180 degrees. Well, maybe I'm just going to leave it as is because we're just being pretty general. So maybe I won't put it on this street. Maybe I'll put it on this street, and I can just simply say slide it right there and say that's where our house is going to go, and good enough for what we're doing. And so there you go. So they're showing your Google Earth imagery and how it sits, and so this way you can quickly tool around and show the location to the beach or whatever. I do want to select this. You can see the blue, so I'm selecting it. I'm gonna hit Control X, and I'm gonna turn my my Earth back on. And I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna paste it. And so I want it just inside there because it's nice to keep things together. But what we can also do is, since we have our Google Earth, or excuse me, our created Earth sitting just above it, I'm actually just going to grab this and I'm going to pull it up on my blue axis just 1 inch, let's say, just so it's hovering above my Earth, so that we can allow that to be its reference. And we're going to get more into these tabs in another video. But what's great is I have some of these things pre-built in, so that when I click on, say these different views, which we haven't really refined the view setups yet, my Google Earth turns off because generally we don't want it on because it becomes very cumbersome and clumsy and just not really what we want. Unless it's specifically looking for it, we can turn it back on. Maybe say this view we don't want it on because you're not really going to see anything, but if we come up here and we're doing more of, say, a bird's eye view and we want that, we can just simply come here, turn it on, right click and say update, and now you can see that we can switch between views and it's kept on there. I also have a roof plan already set up, so we can just recenter the house and you can see the roof plan going on and update. And I also have a Google Earth tab, and so this one, similar to the Google Earth roof, except now we can zoom out just to show a little more context. So we can update that. So that's our Google Earth, and adding some additional context in, and a little bit of layer controls for it. So really, it all depends on your purpose of what you're trying to accomplish, of whether you want it on or off. But it's a great bit of information to have, and this tab is an easy way to get there if you want to have some additional discussions as far as context with the client.